We're gonna get going with some more battle group overviews. The 78 Sturm is next, the German mechanized division. Really, probably my favorite out of the two new ones here, with the other one being the 26th Infantry of the Soviets. But yeah, I do like my fire support. I do like my infantry that has strong anti-tank capabilities. So this is probably going to be my go-to deck if I do go for an infantry deck on the Axis team so far. So let's just start out with the recon here. So we have some new units. We have the KPZ-4 recon slash fire support vehicle with two of those MG34s on top, really fast, and you'll be able to do some hefty damage with these boys, since they do have a really good range on it as well. So what else we have is the Sperrtruppen here, which is a nice 4-man recon team. They have some MP40s, G43s, and an MG34, so pretty strong recon actually. They have kind of weapons for every range, although I don't really recommend attacking with these. We have the captured Russian T-26Cs, which I've actually not put in the deck, since 1, they're going to be really weak, and 2, I needed those points somewhere else. Now they do have 75 mil penetration on those guns, and you could do some sneak attacks, you know, since recon does not alter the front line. But honestly, I use those points for something very, for other important things like infantry and airplanes. You also have some additional Sperrtruppen you can go for, and also Aufklären, which is a 2-man recon team there. So in the infantry tab, loads and loads of infantry, almost filled it up completely, and some of these units are familiar. So we have some Ersatztruppen, and after I go through this, I will go through whatever is new here. So we have 12 of these on the lowest veterancy possible, since we didn't really have a choice. Good line infantry, good infantry to buff the front line up, not really to attack with. They have some carabiners, some rifles, and some MP40s. I actually like them. They're pretty decent. We have some pioneer units, MP40s, carabiners, MG34s, and frag HE shells here. Good against infantry. That should really mess them up. And it's a 10-man squad as well, so pretty good all-around infantry here. We also have some Sturmschützen to deal with enemy tanks and also infantry at really close range. They have 13 STG-44s, so everyone carries an STG-44, and we have one dude with a Panzerfaust. So yeah, that should be pretty OP. And to actually accompany these boys, I would really recommend using some units that have rifles, kind of like this unit, the Belite Grenadiers with the G43s and the MG42s, or something like this where you have the Pioneers to help them out, or even just the Ersatztruppen, since they have those rifles at 500 meters. So yeah, if you have these kind of units that are really good at close range but not at long range, you need to group them up with some other stuff. But yeah, speaking of, the Belite Grenadiers here, SCG-44s, G43s, MG42s, and the only downside really about these kind of battle groups or divisions, I don't know why, but there isn't really any vehicle that we can choose that has a gun apart from the Belite Grenadiers. I don't know why that is, because there really isn't anything that has a gun, so I just went for the cheapest vehicles that I could get my hands on. Although for late game, I would recommend going for some mechanized troops, so we're going to go with that next. But yeah, before we do so, in Phase A I also have some Schützenführers, decent leaders, 7-man team. They can also do some assaulting, I guess, since they're not 2-man or really weak like the other ones. So in Phase B, basically have some more Schützenführers here. We have some Bavarians, PPSHs, Mosin-Nagants. So these are basically captured Russian weapons being used against the Russians once again. And it's a 15-man infantry squad, so pretty powerful and pretty good at basically everything. I would probably use these as line infantry to really hold that front line. We also have some Schützen, 10-man squads, more focusing on anti-infantry objectives. And to help them out, some Sturmschützen focusing on really close range encounters and some anti-tank capabilities. So let's actually get the Sturmschützen out of there and try to put them into something else, which is not possible it seems. So yeah, we don't really have a choice. So the amount of mechanized vehicles is kind of low, really low in my opinion. At least they could have some guns, I guess, on the vehicles. I get these don't have a gun, but you just don't have an option. There's a Kübelwagen You can go for an SDKFZ, but none of these have weapons, so yeah. But then again, let's just put them in there since it would help with keeping them secure until they get to the front line. So everything that is in an Opal and can move into a different vehicle, let's just move them in, but it doesn't look like we can. Nope, that is it. Alright, so the new units that we have is the Feld Gendarmerie 4-man units with MP40s. It does say Assault Squad. I do wonder how good they're going to be. I'll have to check them out. They're only 10 points though, so it might be actually pretty good. We have some leader units that you can also go for on BMW motorbikes. We have some Blight Furies that you can also go for. Pretty much the same as my other units here. The Schützenführer are basically the same. They just have more men, but less of the close range kind of weapons. Actually, it's literally the same. They actually have more rifles for 5 points extra. So I would probably recommend going for the Schützenführer unless you do want these Blight Furies that have the SCG-44. But I usually don't really engage enemies with leader units. So I try to keep them as far back as possible. Sturm Pioneers, probably useful to use. They have the Flammenwerfer. If you do like your flamethrower troops or infantry, they do wreck phase in forests, obviously. So that might be something you might actually add in there by removing something else. Once again, Sturmschützen and Blight Pioneers here, which are pretty badass. So in the tank section, not too much. We have the Stug Life once again. Stug 3Gs, medium tank, decent armor, decent penetration on the gun. Nothing too special. We also have these guys in Phase B. And in Phase B we also have the leader Stug here. And the only difference between... Is there any difference between the leader Stugs and the basic Stugs? Doesn't look so. No difference at all. So basically just filled it up with Stugs. And I put them all on medium veterancy to help with some fire support. Speaking of fire support, we in Phase A put in the IG-18s. Really nice things to use. 2 kilometer range, good suppression and blast. It'll just stun infantry. Also will help you push towns out. Like when you spawn infantry, these guys will just be able to fire at those buildings. We also have some commander units in Phase A to buff up the leader units, which in turn will buff up the units in that leader aura. And that is all for Phase A there. In Phase B we have some MG42s, some machine guns, 1500 meter range, really nice to use in either tree lines or in towns, and yeah, really good range, so I would just put these in there nonetheless. Some munition trucks. It's like a tank supply truck, I guess. Really heavy on the supplies here, 15,000. So yeah, very bad stealth though. I wonder if this is actually the same. Doesn't look like it. So the downside here is that the Opal Blitz munition is really quick, has 10,000 supplies, whereas the RSO munition is heavy on the supplies, has 50% more, but is really slow, even on the road. So what I would recommend is to keep this in the back somewhere that is easily accessible to your self-propelled artillery if they are fast enough to move to this, or just make sure you actually move this guy out after resupplying your artillery, and then move your artillery after they fired, because this guy might be too slow to make it out. But yeah, so it might actually be useful to go for the Opal Blitz, but we get 4 of these and we get 6 of these. So does that actually give us more? So 4, that's 40, 50, 60,000 supplies, and that is actually 60,000 supplies as well. So yeah, screw that. Let's go with the Opal Blitz. There we go. That really does not give us a reason to go for the RSO munition, although it might cost us more at the end. We have some IG-33s in Phase B as well, basically really heavy anti-tank gun, infantry gun here, 150 mil. And to help with some more commander capabilities, we have the Panzer IICs. Really fun tanks to use with that autocannon and the machine gun. Definitely one of my favorite tanks, if I'm honest here. So in the anti-tank department, loads in Phase A. We have some Marder 2s in Phase A. Really good gun, weak armor, but definitely a good gun. It'll take out pretty much anything the Germans can throw or the Russians can throw at you. We also have some Pak 40s in Phase A. I went for the lowest veterancy in this case. since otherwise we really don't have anything that strong in phase A. And I will just have to put a leader and a commander near it to buff it up to, you know, competent levels. In phase C we have the Nashorn, one of the new units here. Really good anti-tank as well. 230 mil penetration on this beast of a gun. And to top it off we have the Pak-43, an 88 mil anti-tank as well, 230 mils. Not sure if this is going to be necessary. For one, none of the Russian tanks have 230 mil front armor. So it might be wiser to go for the Pak-40, since you do get one more. But just for the, you know, the shits and giggles, we're just gonna go for it. In the anti-air, I did kind of go for everything like a more balanced anti-air loadout. We have the Flak-43, the 37 mil here, really good range, 2550, 2500. In phase B we have the STKF set with the 420 mils, and in phase C we have the 88 here, Flak-41 88, which I have not really tried out yet, so we'll have to wait and see how this actually performs on the battlefield. You can also go for some more STKF sets here, which would usually be what I would go for, but I just want to test this guy out here. And it is a dual purpose, so it can also mess up tanks. But yeah, that was it for that anti-air. So in the artillery department, you could go for off-map. I just didn't. I don't like off-map. I have the 120 mil mortars in phase A, 4 of these, and nothing in phase C, or nothing in phase B, I should say. And in phase C, I have 2 Nebelwerfers and 4 of these 150 mil howitzers. And if you don't like to use artillery in phase C, but you would rather have them in phase B, I would probably remove these guys from phase C. I went for the lowest veterancy just to get more. And you could kind of like get really cheap ones on phase B there. Or you could remove the Nebelwerf, and I would probably recommend getting some 150 mils in phase B here. Now, the main difference between these two, obviously it's a larger caliber with the 150, so it'll do more damage, more suppress, it will suppress more, and the blast is better as well, but the rate of fire is lower. So what I went for is just the maximum amount to suppress the crap out of that region. In the air tab, since you guys might have seen my previous deck review or battle group overview of the Russians, the 26th, I prefer slow recon planes because they don't accidentally fly into enemy airspace. The enemy might not think, well, will know that it's a recon plane and might not actually scramble fighters to take it out. Whereas if I use a really fast moving fighter like the ME-109 here, they might just scramble because they think it's a fighter and they will actually just engage it. These guys are good, 610 kilometers per hour, but yeah, definitely not made to fight enemy planes. And I've actually tested them out, and they're not that capable. You also have the Ju-188 F1 here with the 2 13 mil turrets and a 792 mil turret. Pretty good, pretty fast as well. Agility is going to be bad if you're up against fighters, so you're not really going to make it. So speaking of fighters, we have loads of fighters here. In phase B, we have the ME-109 G6R6 with 2 20 mil autocannons, actually 3 20 mil autocannons, and we also have the 13 mil machine gun on the nose as well. So really capable fighter. Good speed, good agility, good optics. Yeah, all around really good. And we also have a heavier variant, the G6R4 with 2 30 mil autocannons, another 20 mil autocannon, and a 13 mil machine gun. So this will really just wreck everything. This looks really fun to use. As for bombers, we have this Ju-188 with a 2-ton bomb, 2-ton payload, but it also has some machine guns here with the 20 mil turrets, the 13 mil turret, and the 7.92 mil turret put on the top, and one on the bottom, I believe, or was that? No, that's the Russian one. Yeah, these are all on the top, it seems. But yeah, really fun division to play, and I could go through the defenses here real quick. So we have the barbed wire, the standard defenses here. It's barbed wire, bunker with MG42s, and trenches. But what you get with these, the latest 2 divisions, is AT defenses. So we have the Pak-37 here, with 65 mil penetration and 2k range in a bunker. And we also have the Pak-50, or the 50 mil pack, I should say, with 100 mil penetration and 2k range. So really good. I think these infantry divisions are going to be really powerful at defending compared to armored divisions, since they will have lower quality infantry, maybe lower quality anti-tank, less defenses and so on. So that's definitely going to be fun to use. But speaking of using, check out the code in the description if you want to use this battle group, or at least have a format to play around with. And yeah, I hope to see you all on the battlefield, and definitely check out my future videos for this game, because I'll be doing quite a bit. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.